Hi, Honest Discussioner here. It's been a while since I've done my last video. It's basically been due to technical difficulties, but the Honest Discussioner is back, and so is the Honest News. Tomorrow should be its return. Hopefully everything will go well, and later in the week I hope to do my first political commentary. But on to the business at hand. My friend and one of my favorite people on YouTube, UNFF Wildcard, has posted a video. Now, I hold Wildcard in pretty high esteem. Never had as much fun debating anyone as I have debating him. He's a smart guy, a true scientist, and a good man. However, I'm a bit disappointed with his latest video. I can't say I disagree with all of it, but I think he either misunderstands some terms or is just going a bit too far. In addition to that, Wildcard, you sound angry, and that rarely leads to a good place when discussing religion on either side. You see, Wildcard has made a video about Thunderfoot. Now, I was a fan of Thunderfoot for a long time. You're welcome to go look through my favorites. I have a good number of his videos favorited. I think Why Do People Laugh at Creationists 25 was my absolute favorite. Whichever one had the hot red as the thumbnail. Anyway, I digress. Wildcard is taking issue with Thunderfoot's video on Tam Tam Pamela, which I'm sure all of you know by now is a Poe, a fake Christian, which, by the way, I have called since the first video I saw of her. I have my issues with Thunderfoot's video, but I'll get to that later. Thunderfoot basically shows Tam Tam Pamela saying something along the lines of God caused the earthquake in Japan, and then Thunderfoot claims only religion could cause a mind to do that. Right now I want to focus on what Wildcard says about this video. He says that pointing to someone faking religious dysfunction as being indistinguishable from someone who is actually religiously dysfunctional is no more damning to religion as Jack Nicholson's performance in The Shining is of people who are trapped by snow in buildings. For those of you that don't know, spoiler alert, Jack Nicholson went on a murderous rampage in that movie. Wildcard claims that people's inability to see Tam Tam Pamela as a fake is not a mark of the depravity of religion, but is a mark of good acting. Now, Wildcard, my friend, this is what I would have to call a bad argument. The idea of Poe, or at least Poe's law, is, as Wikipedia says, that without a clear indication of the author's intent, it is difficult or impossible to tell the difference between sincere extremism and the parody of extremism. The idea is that a good measure of something being ridiculous is its difficulty in being parodied. The reason Tam Tam Pamela was a convincing Poe wasn't just that she was a good actress or female actor, but that the extremist position she held was not far out of the realm of possibility. That there are many people with earnest opinions on religion that would match hers. You could not parody, say, a doctor or a scientist in the same way Tam Tam did religion. There's no correlation. What would you do that people wouldn't immediately pick up as above the norm? Recommend as a doctor that you get a checkup once an hour? People will know you're most likely joking. Recommend that you stop what you are doing once an hour to pray. That does seem like something a religious person would say. This is Poe's law, as I understand it at least. Do not fall into the same trap Thunderfoot falls into, Wildcard. Do not get so enamored with good guys versus bad guys that you go too far. You see, Thunderfoot went too far as well. To say that only religion can do something to a mind that would create someone who behaved like Tam Tam Pamela, only not joking, is meaningless. Drugs can turn a rational, healthy mind into an utter mess. That does not mean all drugs, including ibuprofen, are bad for you. He's taking an example, and a really bad example in my opinion, and turning it into a scare tactic. But that doesn't change the idea that Poe's law is still valid. It may not be valid for all forms of religion. You could not parody, say, Ken Miller from the Dover trials and his Catholic religion without it being obvious what you are doing. However, Poe's law does show that it is a good example, the fundamentalists are crazy. Now, I have to be fair. And the latter part of your video, Wildcard, I totally agree with. Thunderfoot's claim that whether or not Tam Tam Pamela is a Poe, whether she is a legitimate Christian or not, is irrelevant. It is so totally relevant, it's not even funny. To say that it's not relevant is to point to Stephen Colbert and say, look how easily he gets freaked out by bears. Obviously conservatives are bad for bears. You can't point to someone who is faking being religious and claim this is what religion can do to a mind. It didn't at all. And do that to her mind. Now, I could be wrong, and if you have information that shows I am wrong, please tell me. I'll put up an annotation describing this, and I'll even pause the video right here if there is new information about this. But as far as I can tell, Thunderfoot initially thought she was legit when he made the video, that Temtem Pamela wasn't a bow. He jumped on something before understanding it. Now look, I said before, I have an appreciation for much of Thunderfoot's work. That does not mean he is faultless. That does not mean any criticism of him is misguided or some insidious attempt to discredit him. He's not God, he can be wrong, and he has unfortunately been wrong more and more as of late. In my opinion, at least. If you are a fan of Thunderfoot, though, I have but one question for you. Can you point to any time Thunderfoot has done something wrong, made a bad argument, or just been flatly incorrect? Anything. If you can, great. But if you can't, then I'm sorry, I'd argue that you are most likely biased. Everyone, from Pothole54 to Aaron Ra, to even myself, had made mistakes. Made bad arguments, even. Potholer and Aaron Ra and Wildcard have all put up videos pointing out mistakes they've made in the past. I have made bad arguments. Look at this video right here. I completely forgot that the word gospel means good news, and Agnostic Man 77, who I really miss on YouTube, pointed that out to me. If you think Thunderfoot is without blame in anything he's done in the past year, then I suggest to you that you rethink your position and try to look at what he's been doing a bit more objectively. Look at Why Do People Laugh at Creationists 1 through 25 and then compare those videos to the past 10 videos he's made, or any 5 in a row after his talk with Ray Comfort, and tell me you don't see a difference. Thunderfoot is not what he once was. But Wildcard, that does not mean it is open season and we can denounce everything he says willy-nilly. I would say this to no one else on YouTube, not even Rational Roundtable, but I expect more from you. And believe me, I can pay no higher a compliment to anyone. I meant what I said at the beginning of the video. I think you are the man. But you and I are both prone to mistakes. Don't argue from anger, my friend, and you'll only turn your own supporters away. I imagine I will turn some subscribers away from my channel with this video, but if you can't take disagreement, you have no reason to be on a channel about having an honest discussion. Now, I know you can have a honest discussion, Wildcard, so come on down, all of you, and let's discuss this. Honestly. Calmly. Have a nice day. Honest Discussioner out.